none of us had. He was kind of the first comic book style. And
what's up, everybody? Welcome back to IGN Live at Comic-Con. It's me, Greg. This is Scott. Hey, you're making your debut up here with me. We got no Damon to hold us back. And boy, howdy, do we have a good panel here. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I Frankenstein right here. We got Aaron, Yvonne, and the one and only Stuart. Come on, guys. Round of applause. Thank you so much for coming, huh?
Thanks for having us.
So this I Frankenstein movie is going to be pretty big, I think.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
All right, good talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk now.
Now, I'm a huge Frankenstein fan, and there have been so many Frankenstein movies. How is this Frankenstein going to be different? How are you going to bring something new to Frankenstein?
Oh, it's all completely new. I felt that the Frankenstein story had been told so many times so well by so many people that had been done. So I really looked at this as kind of the next chapter of Mary Shelley's story. You know, our film begins where Mary Shelley's story ends. And if Mary Shelley's story, you know, is the story of how the first man-made human was made, this is the story of how that being becomes human.
Okay. So you, I understand, have some kick-ass fight skills as
Yeah.
Frankenstein?
Yeah, this film takes place in the modern age, and because the monster Frankenstein is cursed with, the curse of never dying. He's sort of an eternal being. He has to pick up a technique of fighting, and so he's picked up Cali stick fighting, the Filipino art of using 2.5-foot rattan sticks. Two of them, one in each hand, and disposing of his evil pursuers that way.
As you do.
Yeah, best Frankenstein monster ever.
I read the script. I said, what is this? And Stuart said that he'd always loved Cali stick fighting, so we wanted to put it in a movie.
What a better one, then?
Yeah, it's a great martial art, and it's so visual and cinematic, and I'd never really seen it done before. But, to make it work, you really need someone to work their ass off at it, because it's dual wielding, and the coordination of that is just so hard to get down. And I worked Aaron out for 6 months. I think
I did it for 6 months.
6 months, and all the fighting in the film is all him as a result of that.
Awesome.
It's fantastic.
So, Yvonne, can you tell us, who are you playing? You're not the bride of Frankenstein, we know that. So.
No, I play Tara Waite. She's a scientist. She's an electrophysiologist, actually. She's one of only, I think, 2 humans in the movie, because we set up this world where in the present day we have humans, obviously, and then we have these gargoyles and demons who are fighting for the creature's immortality, or the secret to his immortality, really. So, I get to be one of the few.
Yeah, Tara's the modern day version of Frankenstein. She's the one out there at the forefront of the technology,
right,
trying to figure out how to bring a corpse back to life, basically.
Okay. And you're the key to that, I guess, right?
I'm a monster who's in search of his soul. Was born without a soul. Who was cast out of his home by his father, and is in search of love and sort of the human story. Stuart wrote a beautiful script about a man searching for his purpose in life.
Frankenstein, the Frankenstein monster, he's always tragic, more or less. I mean, like you say, he's always looking for something.
Yeah.
So do we get that tragedy here?
Well, we see his journey, and there is the tragedy, but also there's the beauty of life and love. He finds a purpose. People help him find that purpose. As Yvonne said, we're talking about good and evil, so he makes moral choices from a moral base in himself. So I like to think of this movie, I'm not sure if I ever told Stuart this, about teenage kids who are, they feel unworthy and they're abandoned, and they don't feel that they have a purpose in life. And I feel like the monster of Frankenstein is really like that young teenage kid who has all those scars in the inside, and they start developing on the outside. And then he's got to go through his journey in life, finding out who he is.
What's the tone of the film? It's not a horror. You wouldn't call it a horror.
No,
film.
it's an action thriller. It's a big epic. It starts off in 1795, but then the bulk of the film takes place in present day.
Okay.
So it's a giant 200-year span.
Okay. Is this a franchise potential? Could it be this, the saga of Frankenstein?
Frankenstein 2. Monsters are back.
More Frankenstein.
We Frankenstein. Look, I mean,
Electric Boogaloo.
It's so hard to think about that when it's such a huge amount of work just to get this one done and get it right and get it out, and just hope people will go and embrace it. It is certainly something different. And I guarantee you've never seen anything like it before.
Yvonne, for a role like this, do you do research? Like, I want to go study with somebody who's trying to bring corpses back to life.
Yeah, of course. No, I met with a cardiologist who specializes in that area because I didn't really know anything about it.
And what was his name?
Dr. Sparks?
Dr. Sparks?
Dr. Sparks.
Physiologist.
Isn't that funny? Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, so no, definitely it helped a lot to throw myself into this world. And she's definitely a very smart, scientifically minded woman in this movie. Not a damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need those anymore.
No, but she becomes key for the monster to start figuring out who he is, what he is, and the thing he wants most, which is a companion.
Yeah. Now, is he obviously talks, right?
Yeah.
This is closer to the Mary Shelley version, right? Who was a real eloquent character.
Very eloquent.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got all his faculties. I mean, we see him. The great thing about this movie is we see him go from old times to modern times. So in old times, he's a little less eloquent, and then in modern times, he's got all of his faculties, and he's had centuries to learn the language, to learn how society works, and how he fits into it.
Now, Aaron, of course, you're one of the most beautiful men in the world. So how did you get in touch with being a monster? I mean being an outcast. Come on now, look at this.
We scarred him up. We made him ugly.
It wasn't hard. I think everybody feels like a monster, as I said, and I think that's the story of life. And no matter how beautiful or how much money we have, or what sort of outer success we possess, we always feel inadequate inside. And I think that's what the story is about, and that's why I love this film. And this monster of Frankenstein does something about it. He goes out and he tries to make things better for himself. So. And that's what I'm doing as a person. I'm trying to evolve all the time, and, all that sort of stuff, and, apologize for my wrongs and all that. So, it's a continual learning process.
Was there any intimidation factor on this? I mean, Frankenstein, right?
There's going to be. As people get more and more familiar with this film, there's going to be the questions of the Mary Shelley. How authentic is it? The Cali stick fighting, I think, was the... I mean, it was insane.
If you don't get that down, you look really silly.
Yeah. It was hard, but it was great because everybody else did it. We've shot this entire movie in Australia. I think I was the only American in the movie.
Oh, and Kevin Grievous, who played Descartes.
Yeah, and Kevin.
And then Bill Nye, who was Englishman. But everyone else was Australian. Yvonne's Australian, I'm Australian.
Yeah, so...
Is the stick fighting this is based on a graphic novel. Is the stick fighting in the graphic novel, or did you...
No, the graphic novel basically served as inspiration. We took the title and the concept of the Frankenstein monster being alive in our day and age, and I kind of took it and ran from there.
Okay. Do you guys have a favorite Frankenstein, either movie or, Herman Munster or anything like that?
Herman Munster, everyone's favorite Frankenstein.
It's always the classics to me, the Hammer films.
Hammer.
I love all those films. There are references in I, Frankenstein to all of those films all the way through.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We have no bolts in our movie.
All right.
It's
21st century. Right?
Do you see, I guess this is more for Stuart, do you see, the fact that it seems like, Hollywood's filled with sequels, right? And people want original ideas. Are we to the point now where we can go back to, we're talking about classics like Frankenstein, Dracula, Mummy, stuff like these movies that you remember being black and white and kind of hokey and bring them out and bring out all these human elements and, really give them a modern-day take?
Yeah, look, I think these stories are ripe for that sort of thing, and that was definitely the idea behind this, was to say, okay, if this had really happened, if this guy had really got a corpse and filled it with all these parts and tried to bring it together, how would it have behaved? How would it have learned, grown? And what would have happened, after he buried his father? After his father died, what would have happened next? And where would he be today? In our day and age, how would he have evolved or not have evolved? Where is he? What is he? It's really trying to treat it as very, very real and say, okay, well, what would that look like?
Fascinating.
Aaron, I have to ask you about Two-Face, because everyone loves The Dark Knight. We're at Comic-Con. Can you just tell us what that experience has been like since the movie it's long since been out, obviously?
Yeah, well,
you still get people asking you about it?
Yeah, all the time. Both adults and children alike, and everybody loves the movie. I think that, as we were talking before, Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker is extraordinary, and it really put that film into another, category in film history, and I'm very proud to have been involved in that. And it's fun to watch, the new Batman's come out, and now that if Chris does another one or if he doesn't, I'm part of the Batman family now, which I never thought I would have been.
What do you think of The Dark Knight Rises? Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
I'm going to see it.
When Harvey's story ended, so did that was it for you. You were so attached to that character.
I look forward to it.
Okay.
Lady, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming by. When is I, Frankenstein out, Stuart?
January 24th.
January 24th. Have fun at Comic-Con.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to seeing the movie. Scott, thank you. Good job out there. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, this is I, Frankenstein. I can't wait. If you like video games, comic books, other nerdy stuff, you should be on IGN every day. But don't go anywhere right now. The live stream is continuing after these short messages.